Mistakes can happen. Read your Medicare statements and call Montana Senior Medicare Patrol if you see anything unexpected. 1-800-551-3191. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
Get ready for a day of fun, golf, and Grizz Pride. The annual Grizz Lacrosse Golf Tournament tees off at 10 a.m. Friday, October 3rd at the University of Montana Golf Course. It's a two-person scramble that's open to everyone. No golf skills required, just bring your good vibes. Play 9 holes with mini-games and prizes on every hole, plus awards for first, second, third, and yes, even last place. Support Grizz Lacrosse and sign up now at grizzlax.com. Don't miss it, the Grizz Lacrosse Golf Tournament, Friday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. Register today at grizzlax.com.
Families and caregivers, don't miss all the fun for your family with the Safe Kids Fair, taking over Ogren Park Sunday, September 28th from noon till 3 p.m. This free event is all about learning through play, how you can be safe at home, on the road, and during play. Talk to safety experts and first responders. There will be mascots, face painting, prizes, giveaways, scavenger bingo hunt, and so much more. It's free, it's fun, and you'll learn something too. It's the Safe Kids Fair, this Sunday at the ballpark, noon till 3 p.m. Details at safekidsmissoula.org.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275ES Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Nuanez.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome in. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. We're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Appreciate you for hanging out. I'm Colter Nuanez, coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, and the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Plenty to get to today. Big Sky Conference play opens up tomorrow. We got a couple pseudo-rivalries. One is a real rivalry. Has a trophy. It goes back to 1903. These two teams have been playing forever and a day, and it should be a fun one for the Battle of the Little Brown Stein tomorrow evening. Big Sky After Dark affair, 8:15 p.m. on ESPN 2, number 8, Idaho, in the Garden City to take on number 5, Montana Grizzlies. Looking forward to this one, certainly. The clash in Bozeman that kicks off at 2 p.m., homecoming in Bozeman, by the way. That clash certainly... it has some luster because Eastern Washington has been a pain in the neck for Montana State, even with Eastern Washington's recent sort of slide from the ranks of the elite. But the times that they've been a pain in the neck to Montana State have been the games that have been in Bozeman. The games that have been in Cheney. Last time they were in Bozeman, they've only been to Bozeman one time during the Brent Deegan era, and they got absolutely shellacked, 57-16. But when the games have been in Cheney, they've been nip and tuck close games. 2021, that's the last time Eastern made the playoffs. That Cat team went to the national championship. But Montana State had to ride Isaiah Fonse, 30-plus carries, almost 200 yards, and they got it out a 23-20 win. Then when they went back there in 2022 to Cheney, Montana State had to pull out a 38-35 win there. And then last year when they were there, MSU was tied with Eastern Washington, 28-28 going into the fourth quarter, but then a long Tommy Mellott touchdown sort of broke up in the game, and the Cats win going away, 42-28. But still, Eastern's certainly been more competitive with Montana State than they have with a lot of opponents, considering they're just 12-27 since that last playoff season in 2021. So we'll go through these teams. We'll hear from the head coaches of each of those teams. Thomas Ford Jr. will join us here in about 15 minutes. Aaron Best, the head coach of Eastern Washington, will join us here probably about 35 to 40 minutes. We also have some high school football. What are some of the games to watch tonight? The number one team in the state in AA is here in Missoula. Kalispell Glacier comes to Missoula County Public Stadium to take on Hellgate. Big Skies in Flathead, Sentinels in Butte. So we'll go through some of those games plus some of the other small school games I got my eye on. And that's all just in hour number one. Hour number two, Carol and the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports swings by. We talk about the recent controversy in the SEC involving Lane Kiffin and his daughter. If you haven't heard about this, It's ridiculous. It's outrageous. It's sophomoric. It's stupid, but it's funny. So we'll get through all that, plus much more with Carolyn, and also go back around to high school football, our latest Garden City Spotlight. Matt Johnson, the head coach of the Big Sky Eagles, will join us here about probably between 5:30 and 5:40 here on this Friday. So there you go. That's what's coming up. You want to stream the show, you always can. 1029ESPN.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. And all guests will join us via the Elevated Tax and Accounting phone line. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch. Like to save money on your taxes next year. Schedule a free consultation by visiting elevatedtax.com. The Blackstone has been given away. Not sure it's been quite claimed yet, but we did do a drawing yesterday, so congratulations to our winner. I'm sure Hayden and the people at the front desk have been in touch with you. But thanks to Big Sky Barbecue Supply for hooking that up. Great football season type of prize and great promotion for us, so we appreciate Big Sky Barbecue Supply. They're located there in the Stevens Center, right off of Stevens Avenue, conveniently. And they've been awesome with providing some top-notch prizes for us over the last couple of years. It's an awesome place. I would totally go get myself a one of those pizza ovens. Like I've been shopping. I'm trying to save my money to try to get one of those pizza barbecues that they got there. Pretty sweet. They got a lot of sweet stuff in there. It's a great place to go peruse or make some purchases. So go check out our friends there at Big Sky Barbecue Supply in the Stevens Center in Missoula. All right, let's learn a little bit more about Idaho. First on the field, Vandals are off to a 2-2 start. It's been a little bit of an uneven schedule for Idaho. They took Washington State down to the wire, 13-10. Fringely, that's an impressive performance. I mean, Washington State's obviously an FBS. They're no longer a Pac-12, so they're a little bit less cachet for the Cougs. It's also just like a crosstown rivalry for those two schools, right? They're only about 6 miles apart, Moscow and Pullman are. So there's some juice there behind that. Certainly Idaho was rampant and chomping at the bit to win that game. Washington State's been god-awful on offense all season, that game included, but also against North Texas. So, it's impressive. It's impressive to go toe-to-toe with an FBS team, but also Washington State's just not what they used to be, and they were never much. But they're not the Pac-12 version of Washington State, and even the Pac-12 version of Washington State was not. They've had some flash years where they've been competitive, pretty good, but never anywhere close to the top echelon of the Pac-12. And so anyways, moving on. Idaho then beat St. Thomas 37-30. They're a upstart team in the Pioneer Football League, St. Thomas is, but by all accounts, they have a lot of talent. But Idaho was able to prevail. Then 20-6, Idaho beats Utah Tech. And then last week, they go down to the wire against San Jose State, but they lose 31-28. If you're going to play two FBS games, I think playing Washington State and San Jose State are pretty good draws for you. That's a heck of a lot better than playing like, I don't know, Washington and Cal or something, Washington and Stanford, Oregon and Fresno State. Those are relatively favorable opponents. That said, Idaho's looked pretty good, but the bookmakers absolutely hate this game for Idaho. I mean, Montana is minus 475 on the money line. The Grizz opened at 6.5-point favorites, and the money has come pouring in relentlessly on the Grizz, and this has moved all the way up to 11.5 just in the last couple of days. So bookmakers and prognosticators and football wagerers are basically saying, like, Montana's in full control of this game. Grizzlies are 3-0 coming into this one. But I don't know if they've played nearly the slate that Idaho has. I think North Dakota's pretty good, and North Dakota probably actually might be on par with Washington State. Not sure how that. I mean, transitive properties are tough. But Montana also played a D2 in Central Washington. They played a bottom feeder from the Missouri Valley in Indiana State a week ago. When it comes to the history of this rivalry, Montana has dominated thoroughly in what I would call the quote-unquote modern era The Grizz have won 13 out of the last 19 battles for the Little Brown Stein. This game was played most years between 1903 and 1995 when Idaho left the conference. Then they reignited the rivalry in 1999. Idaho won that first one when they were up, when they were playing FBS football. But then in Montana won in 2000, and that sparked a 4-game winning streak in this rivalry when Idaho was FBS and Montana was FCS. So that means Montana has not only won 13 out of the last 19, they've won 8 out of the last 9. The only win for Idaho this century in the battle for the Little Brown Stein came in the last time they were in Missoula. They won 30-23 in 2022. Of course, the Grizz go back to Moscow the next year, and they win a thriller 23-21, recovered an onside kick to seal that thing. And then this game, inexplicably and shamefully, was not played last year. I don't know how the Big Sky Conference could possibly let that happen, but that's a different discussion for a different day. But this has been all Montana all the time in the battle for the Little Brown Stein, basically since 1990, but certainly since 2000. Also, there was when Montana infamously beat Idaho in 2003, the Grizz had all their quarterbacks were out. They took a walk-on receiver named Kyle Sampson, who's now the head coach at Montana Tech, and they put him at quarterback, and they ran basically a version of the triple option, and they won going away, 41-28. And Idaho basically said, thanks, but no thanks. We're not playing this rivalry anymore. So there was no battle for the Little Brown Stein between 2003 and 2017. Then when Idaho came back down to the Big Sky Conference in 2018, the rivalry renewed. All that's to say, though, even though Montana has completely dominated over the last 35 years and certainly especially dominated over the last 25 years, since the turn of the century, Idaho leads this rivalry significantly. Idaho won 56 times to 31 Montana wins, 2 ties, and part of that is boosted up by the dominance that Idaho had during the first half of the Big Sky Conference era. Between 1965 and 1990, Idaho won 21 out of 27 battles for the Little Brown Stein. So that's where the sort of the disparity comes from. But certainly in the modern era, this has been pretty much all Montana. But Idaho did win the last time they were in Missoula, and I know both sides remember that, even if there's not a lot of crossover on the rosters for each program. When it comes to the University of Idaho, most of you probably already know a lot of this, but I find these sort of tidbits fun and also enlightening. Idaho is a public land-grant institution in Moscow, Idaho. It was established in 1889, so it has certainly been one of the most long-standing universities in the region. They are classified as a Research 1, a high-spending research institution. Carnegie Tier 1 is what they call it. Montana State are both that as well, so I think that just shows the prowess of the university, sort of beyond the endowment and beyond the enrollment. The enrollment there at University of Idaho is almost 10,000, 9,796 as of the fall of 2023. And they have everything from a law school to an engineering program. And it's a cool place. If you've never been there, it's very college town-esque. I love Moscow. I think it's a great town. And I think it would be a very fun place to go to school. So cool that they're back in the league. I think it's the right fit. And I know Montana's very happy that they are back in the league as well. When it comes to their head football coach, Thomas Ford Jr. is a guy that cut his teeth at the small school level. He played Division III football at Linfield in the early 2000s and then played for a little while in the Arena Football League. He got his coaching start at Linfield and then coached at Southeast Oklahoma State before starting to climb the ranks a little bit. He got to the Seattle area where he's really he's from Seattle, so he got back into his hometown as the head coach at Stadium High School in 2014. Then he was the head coach at Simon Fraser 2018-2019 when they were transitioning to become, it was actually more like 2009, 2010 when they became the first Canadian university to start playing American rules football. But he was the head coach there, and they had a hard time in the GNAC. But that certainly didn't deter his rise. I think he earned a lot of respect for enduring what was one of the most challenging jobs in college football. He then had a job at University of Washington as a quality control guy. He became the special teams coordinator, running backs coach, and recruiting coordinator at Idaho 2022 and 2023. So he was on the staff when the Vandals came to Missoula and won, as well as when they lost the battle for the Little Brown Stein in Moscow. And then Thomas Ford Jr. spent last season as the running backs coach at Oregon State. And now here he is as the head coach here for Idaho. He's got a 4-20 record overall as a head coach, but 2 of those wins have come this year. Records completely aside, I've been impressed with my conversations with Ford. I do a weekly podcast with him on Skyline Sports Vandals Weekly, and he's an affable guy. He's a very relatable guy. I think he's a heck of a recruiter, and I think that's going to help Idaho sustain this success. Jason Eck leaving was a huge deal. Jason Eck really turned that program around. Paul Petrino had it stuck in the mud. I think part of that was just the transition from the FBS to the FCS. I don't think Paul Petrino ever really had any intention in being an FCS type of coach. So when he left, it was just sort of this renewal for Idaho. Eck led them to the playoffs in year 1. Then he led them to the playoffs in year 2. And then last year they had a breakthrough, which is one of their best seasons in school history. I found this a little bit shocking. Last year, Idaho won 10 games. That's the first time Idaho had won 10 games since 1988, and it's only the second double-digit win season in the history of Idaho football. I thought that was pretty stunning. I mean, Idaho's had a lot of success. They won 10 Big Sky Conference championships between 1982 and 1995. Guys like Dennis Erickson and Keith Gilbertson and John L. Smith, they all went through there and went to the highest level of college football. I mean, shoot, Gilbertson was the head coach at Cal in Washington. Dennis Erickson won national championships at Miami. And John L. Smith was the head coach at Louisville, Michigan State, and Arkansas. So you're talking Power 5 pedigrees for those guys. I was just surprised that only one team, the 1988 Vandals, ever won double digits until Idaho won 10 games a year ago. Plenty of players to watch for Idaho, but probably the number one is Josh Wood. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in high school at Graham Kapowskin on the west side of Washington. He then went to Fresno State, where he sort of toiled, but their quarterback last year entered the portal before their bowl game, and Wood got a chance, and he really shined. That was sort of his advertisement to the world, but then he also decided to jump in the portal with the coaching change that went down to Fresno State, and lucky for Idaho, they got him. I think he's a really good player. I think he's going to be the front runner for Newcomer of the Year, or at least one of the primary candidates for Newcomer of the Year in the Big Sky Conference, and he's a very good player. So he's certainly going to be one to watch. He's a dual threat. He's got a big arm, and he can move a groove quite a bit. He's only a sophomore, but they have credited him for being one of the top leaders on their team. He's a captain. He has a sophomore transfer, so I think that speaks a lot to the young man's character. And it was fun talking to him earlier this season, and we'll certainly have him on again. But I think he's one of the key factors. He's one of the straws that stirs the drink. Other strengths for Idaho, I think they're good up front. I actually think they're really good up front. They were able to get Nate Azzopardi and Leighton Vining, a couple upperclassmen linemen who are all Big Sky guys that had entered the portal. They got those guys to stay. Idaho doesn't really have anybody like Jordan Dwyer on the outside. He was so dynamic, and I mean, look at him now. He's tearing it up at TCU, so not that surprising that you don't have a top-level talent like that, but they do have some good receivers. I really like Tony Harsty. I think he's a good player. Jake Cox, the tight end who joined us earlier this week, he's a good player too. And I think Idaho has a lot of depth defensively. I think that Isaiah King's one of the best linebackers in the league. I think Jason Eck did a really good job recruiting in the secondary, so I think they still have good players there too. And I expect this to be a good game on Saturday night. Grizzly Harley-Davidson, now part of the Young Power Sports family, bringing access of a network of over 3,000 machines, trusted service, and more power to Missoula and Western Montana. Visit them to buy your next Harley-Davidson or see their inventory online at YoungGrizzlyHarley-Davidson.com. That's YoungGrizzlyHarley-Davidson.com. Young Grizzly Harley-Davidson, new name, bigger family, rooted in Montana. Ride fast, live young. Let's hear from the head coach of the Idaho Vandals. This is a cross-collaboration, an excerpt from our Vandals Weekly podcast from earlier this week. Here you go. Vandals Weekly back for another week, part of the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series, or maybe this week you're listening on statewide radio on ESPN Montana as well. Thomas Ford, the head coach of the Idaho Vandals, joining us as his team comes to town Saturday evening to take on the Montana Grizzlies, a top 10 showdown at Washington Grizzly Stadium. Coach, thanks for being here, man. When you hear that sort of lead up, what's going through your mind? You must be very excited to coach in a game between two top 10 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can play in these nationally televised games against another top 10 opponent, I think you're excited, and that's certainly no different this week.
You got a lot of momentum as a program. How much do you think playing in these games the last couple of years has helped? I know you've been an assistant there, so you've seen some of the juice it can give you. How much do you think it does help, and in what ways does it help?
I definitely think it helps. I think just having that experience playing, especially at this stadium, with their ruckus crowd, with a lot of the bells and whistles of an ESPN game, I just think it gives perspective, that we've done it before and we've come out victorious in the past, and this game should be no different.
Interesting that Montana and Idaho didn't play last year, so it seems like the Vandal community at large and Grizzly community at large are happy this game is back. What's your thoughts just on getting back to the rivalry?
Oh, I love it. I thought the same thing at the end of the 23 game when, Montana came to Moscow and beat us by a really close game. I think it was 23-21. And, just not having the opportunity to play that game the next year, I think was probably the thing I remember the most about that game, right? We end the game, they take the Little Brown Stein, and we have no chance to even, return the favor the following season. So it's definitely exciting to get this game back, and hopefully it's a game we can get year in, year out.
Well, crazy just how close the last couple have been, too, right? I mean, that 2023 was an instant classic. The last time you guys were in Missoula, an instant classic. So what do you think? Why is it? What are the factors that go into making this game so nip and tuck and so exciting for the fans?
Yeah, I think, when you look at the two rosters, right, they're two talented rosters. So, the matchups on paper look really good. And whenever you get two teams that are talented, both teams are, have like physical mentalities, I just think you get those kind of slugfest bouts. And so that's something that I know that we're looking at this game as being and preparing as such.
Well, I know that multiple people within the Idaho program talked about just how much of a sort of a stepping stone it was for you guys to win in Missoula the last time you were there. How much do you think that just impacted sort of the trajectory of the Idaho program overall?
Yeah, definitely, I think, really improved the trajectory. It showed us that we could go into one of the most hostile environments in all of FCS football and go get a win. And so I think it really helped the confidence of the program moving forward from that day.
Thomas Ford Jr. joining us here on the Big Sky Breakdown, Vandals Weekly, as well as Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. He's the head coach of the Idaho Vandals. They come to Missoula, 8:15 p.m. kickoff, national television from Washington Grizzly Stadium. Your team's non-conference. We've checked in with you each week, but now that it's in the books, what are some of the things that you really liked that you saw out of your team over these last 4 weeks?
Oh, I really like the resolve of our club. I think our guys play extremely hard. They play for each other, and they never quit. We lost 2 games by a combined 6 points, and literally both games came down to last-second field goals in the fourth quarter. And so I think our team really believes we can win every game that we're in.
That close margin of defeat, what's the thing that could put you over the top when you get to those close games?
We just can't have self-inflicted wounds, right? We can't have pre-snap penalties, and we've got to tackle better. I thought last game against San Jose State, we win that game if we tackle better. And so, again, our group is going to really kind of get back to fundamentals and really work that stuff so it doesn't become an Achilles heel this week.
When it comes to just coming together as a team, how much do you think you guys melded and meshed and gained continuity over these last 4 weeks?
Oh, I think extremely well. We have so many young players on this roster that are, really getting their first opportunities to be either full-time starters or full-time contributors. And so you're really seeing the kind of the maturity of this team grow every game that we play. Every game that we're in, we've made mistakes, but we're making new mistakes. And so I think anytime you're learning from those mistakes and come back stronger the next week, it really helps your program moving forward.
This is one thing I've talked to with, Bobby Howe, Grant Vegan, Brian Wright, a bunch of coaches around the Big Sky, is just that this seems like a transition year for almost everybody at the FCS, right? Because you had all these guys that have been around since 2019, 2020. They get the extended eligibility. They get all these extra years, and you can build on those guys, right? But now those guys are mostly gone. I mean, by and large, everybody's out the door. So do you feel like it's sort of a work in progress for everybody across the country? It seems like everybody's still sort of coming together and finding their footing right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, whenever you have these FCS rosters that kind of change overnight, so to speak, and you don't have those 6-year guys that have been in the program for a long time, it definitely changes the dynamic. And I think what you're seeing right now is the Big Sky trying to kind of figure out who's where in terms of the hierarchy.
No doubt, and that's why it's going to be so exciting now that we're actually into Big Sky Conference play. Last big picture question, then we'll talk more about sort of this matchup. But that's the other part about the Big Sky. Everybody asks me, what do you think of the league? What do you think of this team versus this team? I say, man, I have no idea, because some teams play 2 FBSs like you guys did. Some teams play up games, down games. There's very few sort of like opponents, and 4 straight weeks of just playing FCS, power conference teams. That hardly happens for anybody anymore. So how do you go about evaluating not only your team, but also the conference at large as you sort of step into conference play this week?
I think it's tough to evaluate outside your program. I just think it's hard, like you said, without the like opponents, it's a little difficult. So I think right now, we're just more trying to, gauge where we're at as a club. And I think we got a little bit of that with, some common opponents with, Utah Tech. They play both Northern Arizona and UC Davis. We got a little bit of that, but I think right now it's still very early, and I think you got to kind of take it one game at a time and try to focus on what we're doing here first, and then we'll kind of see where the chips stack up as some of those games, those common opponents and things like that start adding up over the course of the year.
Well, one thing we talked about in the preseason and then also early on in the season is the veterans you guys have on the offensive line. So how much is Idaho as a whole and Idaho's offense benefited from some of the veteran players that you guys have up front on the offensive line?
Oh, it's been huge, and it's showing up in the stat sheet, right? We've rushed the ball for over 150 yards, I believe, in every single game in their first 4 games, and that group has really kind of anchored the offense and gave us a chance to have long, extended drives, and I think whenever you have a veteran O-line, especially at this level, you're going to have a chance. There's just things that they've seen before as a group, and I think you're starting to see that group really meld together even better through 4 weeks.
Well, that seems like it's going to be a key matchup on Saturday night because Montana, they bring so much pressure. They move around so much up front. It's definitely an unorthodox defense. So how much does having veterans help you? And also, what do you just think of that element of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, first, to answer your first question, having veteran guys to handle all that stuff is huge. Guys that have seen this before, guys that have played in this game before, I think have more experience with that. We've got a few guys that have done that. And then, just in general, playing against that kind of controlled chaos of their defense is tough. Those guys are going to come at you at all angles. They're going to, sometimes maybe not even have much regard for gap integrity, but they're going to cause chaos. And I think those guys have done a good job of doing that, and we've got to answer the call. And again, a veteran O-line certainly helps you do that.
Well, it seems like when we're talking to our Vandals Weekly audience, we've talked about your quarterback, Josh Wood, every week so far here. But tell some of our people that are listening to the radio maybe on the first time just about your quarterback and what you've liked out of him, not only from a performance perspective, production perspective, but also just from a leadership perspective.
Yeah, starting with just him on the field, he's really started to become very consistent as a true dual threat guy. He threw for over 200 yards, ran for over 60 against San Jose State, and you're seeing his talent really start to mature as well as the team is. And I think with Joshua, his most impressive thing has just been how he's handling everything and how he's just, he's so humble and he's just so even keel really since that first week. And I think that's really helping our offense meld and get some type of consistency here as we get into league play. And then he's just a great leader. He, again, like I said, he's very humble. He's very lead by example, going to work hard. And then he's going to make sure that when guys aren't doing the right things, he's getting after them. And I think he knows his teammates. So it might not look the same with every guy, but he does a great job holding guys accountable and making sure everybody's on the same page.
When you have a guy that is relatively new to the program, what does that take? What does it take to sort of gain your teammates' trust to be able to get after him a little bit if things aren't going the way you want it to go?
Well, I think you got to handle it like he did. When he came in with no ego. He really wanted to make sure the guys understood that he knows nothing's promised to him and he's going to work for everything he gets. And I think when you're around a guy that's a really hard worker and, he's very much a positive teammate, it's pretty easy for him to start leading once they see that work he's putting in.
Thomas Ford Jr. joining us here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series, head coach of Idaho. How about defensive defensively, then, what sort of strides do you think you guys took forward? Because obviously a great debut against Washington State, holding them to only 13 points, and you guys have had some pretty good defensive numbers through all 4 games. But from week 1 to week 4, where have you seen your team grow defensively?
I think that we're just starting to play a little bit better as an entire unit with our communication. That's something that's got to continue to improve, but that group is definitely starting to take strides where they're, everyone's on the same page and kind of, moving on a string, so to speak. But that's probably where I've seen them take the biggest leap, is just really that communication.
When it comes to this matchup with the Grizz, obviously you mentioned the defense and the chaos they cause, but other parts of this matchup that you're looking at that you're putting a high priority on in preparation this week?
Yeah, we got to tackle those 2 ball carriers, number 10 and number 6. I mean, those, the Gillum kid and the Worthing kid, they can really play. Those guys are dangerous with the ball in their hands and can score at any moment. So you got to get, body on a body, get your chest on these guys and tackle them, because if we don't tackle well, it's going to be a long day.
You've been a running backs coach for a long time. What do you think of just the talent of number 10, Eli Gilman?
He's a great player. I think he's got great contact balance. He's got good vision, quick feet, and I think he's a lot faster than people give him credit for. So he's definitely one of the better backs that we've seen this season, and possibly the best back, one of the better backs we'll see the whole season.
And when it comes to the quarterback, Kaylee Ayat, number 8, he seems like he's made strides forward. But what have you seen just in your preparations for Montana's offense when it comes to the quarterback spot?
Yeah, I mean, number 8 is a very athletic kid. He's talented. He can make some throws. One thing that impressed me on tape is I think he's made some pressure throws where he's got, guys right in his face. He's getting hit, but he's still delivering the ball. And so he's definitely another wrinkle to that offense that we're going to have to tackle.
8:15's late for us people that get up early. So logistically, how do you manage this? Because I'm sure your guys are across the board are used to being early risers. So how do you manage just sort of the late kick on Saturday?
Yeah, I think that's something you got to manage. You got to kind of really look at, hey, what is the risk reward for everything? How much rest do they need? Because obviously you want them off their feet, but then again, you don't want them, just sitting around the hotel room all afternoon. And so, we're going to get up, move around, do a few things to make sure that they stay engaged, not only mentally but physically, and hopefully that can, help us shorten up that game, time from the time we wake up until game time.
Well, last thing for you then, what are going to be the key factors for your team if you're going to come into Washington Grizzly and get yourself a win?
Well, I think we got to, handle the crowd noise, just be great with our operation on offense. That is for sure. I think we've got to tackle well defensively, and then on special teams, we've got to make a play. They've got a very good special teams unit, very well coached. I know Coach Hawk over there, he's very involved with their special teams, and I am very involved in ours. So I think you got 2 good teams going at it on special teams, and the team that makes a play in that area, I think, is going to have an upper hand.
Coach, we appreciate it. For our Big Sky Breakdown audience, we'll certainly be back next week with another Vandals Weekly, but for our ESPN radio audience, we appreciate you for joining us. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, you bet. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate Thomas Ford for taking some time during a busy week. Go back after this. Aaron Best, the head coach of Eastern Washington, his team in Bozeman on Saturday. One of the longest tenured coaches in the Big Sky Conference, joins us on the other side. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
All Nations Health Center is proud to share that they have officially purchased the Women's Club in Missoula. This marks a significant moment in All Nations' story and history, giving the organization a permanent home and a place where they can continue to grow, care for their relatives, and deepen their commitment to community health and healing. Owning this space means stability, strength, and the opportunity to better serve patients in the Western Montana community in a way that reflects the values and mission of All Nations. For more information on everything All Nations has to offer, follow All Nations on social media or visit allnations.health.
The YMCA is back, and better than ever. Our fully remodeled YMCA campus now includes 2 group fitness studios, a new drop-in childcare center, renovated pool, and state-of-the-art workout equipment. And that's not all. We're also home to Midtown's first all-abilities playground, covered outdoor court space, and a community splash pad. So come see your new YMCA, right next to the fairgrounds. The Y. We're for youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility.
Colter Nuanez from ESPN Montana here, and I can't tell you how much high-speed fiber internet from Blackfoot Communications has improved my life. It might sound simple, but having lightning-fast upload speeds lets me record video calls in 4K to use on our Nuanez Now radio and television show. It also allows us to produce content with world-class efficiency, and I can work from home even if my wife is streaming her HD TV. If you want to experience the fastest internet speeds possible, you need fiber internet from Blackfoot. Find out more about fiber in your area by visiting blackfoot.com.
This fall, the Montana Club is serving up comfort the Montana way. Start with the club's hearty porterhouse pork chop paired perfectly with sweet potato casserole. Or dig into the hand-breaded chicken thighs topped with a rich sage peppercorn country gravy. Craving cozy? Nothing beats the Montana Club's golden-crusted chicken pot pie, and that's just the beginning. Experience that full fall flavor at an incredible value at the Montana Club and MontanaClub.com on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
At Dazzler's Car Wash of Missoula, they've taken their most popular washes, combined all the most popular features, from foam wax to graphene to ceramic coating, and boom, you got the best bang for your buck, any dirty or grimy vehicle. And be sure to check out memberships at Dazzler's Car Wash. Starting for just $34 a month, you can get the most thorough and quality car wash in the Garden City. Dazzler's Car Wash, located off Radio Way in Missoula. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated with Dazzler's Car Wash today.
Vertical Raise is the top fundraising platform, no matter what sort of organization you need to raise money for. Vertical Raise is an industry leader with elite technology that can help you reach the most vast audience possible, in turn, delivering a bigger check for you and your organization. In 2023, Vertical Raise Montana helped raise more than $1.5 million for high school sports organizations around the Treasure State, and the returns were more than 30% greater than any other fundraising program. To find out more about how Vertical Raise can deliver your organization the biggest check possible, visit verticalraise.com.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
The number 1 team in the state of Montana is in Missoula tonight, and the number 8 team in the football championship subdivision is in the Garden City tomorrow. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Missoula Hellgate hosts Kalispell Glacier, the runner-up in the Class AA each of the last 2 seasons. Glacier has outscored its last 3 opponents 160-27, including winning last week 56-6 against Helena Capital in a rematch of last year's state championship game. Wolfpack roll into Missoula County Public Stadium with an offense averaging 44 points per game, including 54 points per game the last 3. The Knights sport a 1-3 record under first-year head coach Quinn Chamberlain. Missoula Big Sky puts its 4-0 record on the line at Kalispell Flathead tonight. The 4th-ranked Eagles are averaging 37 points per game and have given up just 16 points all season during one of the best starts in school history. The Braves are 1-3 after winning their first game since October of 2023 earlier this year. Saturday, number 5 Montana hosts number 8 Idaho in a Big Sky After Dark affair that kicks off at 8:15 p.m. The Grizz are riding a 3-game winning streak with all 3 wins coming at Washington Grizzly Stadium. Montana has won 8 of the last 9 battles for the Little Brown Stein this century, but Idaho won its last trip to Missoula, shocking the Grizz 30-23 in 2022. That win helped boost Idaho into the playoffs for the first time since 1994. It was the first of 3 straight trips to the postseason. Idaho leads the all-time series 56-31-2.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is brought to you by Canyon River Golf Club of East Missoula.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Here's a fun fact for you. Since 1983, who does Montana State football have the worst record against of any team in the Big Sky Conference? Obviously, caveat there, has to be a team that's been in the Big Sky Conference since 1983. So it's obviously not Sac State, even though that wouldn't be an option, because they most often have beaten Sac State over the last, since they joined the league in 1996. Portland State's not an option. Northern Colorado's not an option. Southern Utah, UC Davis, Cal Poly, all these, in and out or affiliate members, North Dakota, et cetera, et cetera. Basically out of the core members, and Eastern Washington is not a core member. But that is the answer to the trivia question, is that Eastern Washington has a better record against Montana State since 1983 than even Montana. And that's pretty stunning considering the Grizzlies beat the Bobcats 16 times in a row between 1986 and 2002. But Eastern Washington has beaten Montana State 28 out of the last 40 times. The Grizz, 26-14 since 1983. Obviously, then because of the streak, all those numbers are skewed. Since 2002, it's been very even between Montana and Montana State. I just found that stunning. But Montana State has certainly turned the tables on Eastern Washington during the Brent Vigen era. I think part of that is because of the ascendance of Montana State to become one of the perennially top 4 or 5 programs in the country at the FCS level, and also part of that's the Eastern Washington's taking a step back. I mean, they were Big Sky champions 5 times in the 2010s. They won a national championship in 2010. They were in the playoffs basically perennially, year in and year out, between 2008 and 2021. Almost every year they were there. Not only did they win a national championship, they went to another one. They went to 5 more semifinals. They were what the Cats are now. And it's fallen off, and there's a lot of reasons why. I think that there's a lack of institutional support for athletics. I think there's a reality when it comes to money, and now that money is such if not the driving factor in all of college sports, I think that's a reality. I also think that Eastern Washington was really good when Montana State weren't as good. Cats were good in the early 2010s. They won 3 straight Big Sky titles. They beat that Eastern Washington team that won the national championship in 2010. But then the decline of the Rob Ashe teams, 2013 through 15, and then his subsequent firing, and then the Jeff Choate rebuild, et cetera, Eastern took that perch. And then you have all the stuff that's going on in Montana. Obviously, Robin Flugrad's firing, Mick Delaney's interim that turned into a 3-year interim. There's so many different factors that we don't need to hash out right now. But Eastern became the premier program in the Big Sky Conference because Montana State regressed, and also because of their own ascendance. And then it's gone like this, right? Montana State have now gotten back on track. Both are nationally elite, and Eastern Washington is no longer nationally elite. So I would like it if Eastern Washington would become nationally elite again. I think it's fun. They can get players, but a lot of the other schools in the Big Sky can't get. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think that their location, I mean, they're right next to a metro area in Spokane, and they're only a couple hours from another metro area in Seattle-Tacoma area. The school is one that, I mean, it just caters to, they have landing pad majors, let's say, right? They can get guys eligible and keep guys eligible. And I don't know if that's as big of a worry now because there is so much academic support, but I just think it's fun when Eastern Washington's good, and I know a lot of people around the state of Montana like it when they're good, and we'll see. They're coming off a win last week, but that's about it. When it comes to their head coach, Aaron Best, he had Eastern humming along when he first took over for Bo Baldwin. He went to the national championship in year 2, and they lost to North Dakota State. And then a couple of years later, I mean, they were in the playoffs in 2021. They came to Missoula and took on the Grizz. And that was a really fun playoff game. They had beaten the Grizz previously in the season. Then they lost, of course, at Washington Grizzly Stadium. But that team was still very good. Since then, 3-8, 2-6 in Big Sky Conference. 4-7, 3-5 in Big Sky Conference. 4-8, 3-5 in Big Sky Conference. So how do they get this thing back on track? Unsure. Last tidbit about Eastern Washington. Jared Taylor was the slated starter out of the gates, and he was their starter for a couple weeks. Then he got hurt. Nate Bell took over. He's been pretty good. I thought he was very good last week against Western Illinois. Now it sounds like both those guys might play against Montana State. How much does that influence the game? We caught up with Aaron Best, head coach of Eastern, earlier this week.
Big Sky play upon us, and we continue to preview around the league, including the game that goes down in Bozeman on Saturday afternoon. Eastern Washington taking on Montana State. Aaron Best, the head coach of the Eagles, joining us here now on ESPN Radio. Coach, thanks for being here. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Met a few years ago now, but we continue to have conversations when the Montana schools pop up on our calendar. So appreciate the time to speak some Eagle language.
Well, the fun part here is that with all the weird scheduling that's happened in the Big Sky, you guys have played Montana State year in and year out since this like new schedule block came out. We'll see if that changes when they changed into the next schedule block. But, I always just like when sort of the traditional Big Sky Conference teams that have been around for a long time play each other. So what do you think of just having the Cats on the schedule each of the last 4 or 5 years?
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good for the Big Sky Conference. I think I talked to somebody a day or two ago. The better the both teams are, the better the game when there's more on the line, the better the game is. I know the last year's was a close one. A couple years ago in Bozeman, it wasn't a close one. But you look back probably the last 20 years, 25 years since I've been around, whether it's in Bozeman or in Cheney, whether it is the Cats or the Grizz, it always seems to be, all three teams have, kind of put their worries aside, play their best football in that 60 minutes, and it always comes down to, the last quarter, last possession, or last kick. So two good teams hooking up. Obviously, one of the best teams in the nation that we're facing on the road. So their home test, we're road tested. So something's got to give this weekend in Bozeman.
Yeah, it is crazy. We were going through some of our best games we've ever covered in the Big Sky at Skyline Sports, and man, I'm telling you, I think like half of the top 10 would be Eastern Washington versus Montana State, right? Like you had the 52-51 crazy game in Bozeman. The next year was like 55-50 out there in Cheney. Even a couple times ago in Cheney, when you guys it came all the way down the wire, I think the Cats won by like 2. It was like 38-36 or 38-35. It is so close every time that these two teams play. So just specifically about Montana State, why do you think it is you guys bring out the best in each other?
Well, I think we respect each other's programs. I think we've both done it for a long time and try to sustain some baseline good level football. It's not an easy travel for either party. Usually when you're on the bus, a little bit different than on the plane when you're doing that. And so I think that does. It depends on where you play them in the year. A couple of years ago, we played them before we went out to Florida and kind of let that one get out of our hands in Cheney and with a crazy kind of last minute play by Danny Yu and the pick that they didn't overrule. It just kind of, I don't know if it's just the way it is when the teams get together. I think you throw out the records. I think you throw out the preseason stuff. I think you just put the ball down and let them play. And consistently, they've had a great defense, high octane offense. Guys can move the sticks and again, playing at their place in front of 20,000 plus. It is undoubtedly the second loudest place to play in the Big Sky Conference. So we got our hands full for sure.
Eric Best joining us, Eastern Washington head coach. They play in Bozeman on Saturday. People keep asking me to try to analyze like where we're at with the Big Sky coming into league play, and I just tell them I have no clue because the scheduling is just so all over the place, right? Like some teams have played the best of the best. Some teams have played FBSs, multiple FBS games. You guys have played at FBS and multiple, solid to great FCS programs. And then some people have played, non-NCAA schools too. So it's just sort of all over the map. So, when you're trying to get a gauge of your team, though, coming into conference play, how do you sort of go about it? And where do you think you're at right now with your Eagles?
Well, I think you and I both know. Conference is different than non-conference. I've seen teams, I've been a part of teams that played really, really well in non-conference and didn't hit that or keep the stride going into conference play. That I've also been part of non-conference 0-4s in 2011. We won the national title the year before and ripped off 6 of the last 7. So non-conference is what it is. You kind of get a feel for who you intend to become, and then what you become to me is kind of what conference play is all about. And this league is so tough. And it sounds like a broken record year in and year out, but it continues to get better and better and better. Whether you're at home or whether you're away, whether you're facing number 1 from last year in the conference or number 12 from last year in conference, you can't play C game and win games in this conference. You just can't. And that wasn't the case 10, 12, 15 years ago, where you might be able to get away with 14-point victory on the road if you played a C+ game. Now that's not the case. It's the recruiting, it's the players, it's the coaching, it's the environments we're playing in. But each school does what they do in the non-conference slate based on probably what they can and can't do, with the places that they're at. But the conference is upon us. We got 8 in front of us. We got to take them one game at a time.
Well, you guys got a good win last week over Western Illinois. So what'd you like just about your team's performance?
Well, I didn't like the completion percentage, but what I did like out of the ones we did complete, that they were explosive, really, really explosive. And we lacked explosive plays the week before in Cedar Falls. We gave up too many the week before that against Boise. That was like an 18 or 20 explosives to like 4. So we've gradually gotten to find ways to be a little bit more explosive. Gave the ball away 2 times. We threw 2 picks. One we could have done something with at the receiver position. So we kind of put the quarterback in a bind after watching film. I like the fact we got our run game on track a little bit. It's nice to see us, churn out 300 yards on the ground. Nate Bell's a ball player. It was in his second start, first start at home, and played the position as well as he could have. And again, probably could have got some help from his friends at receiver. We beat up a few too many balls, just like we did the week before. So that's going to help out that department. I thought we played really, really well defensively outside of that one series where we kind of gave up an explosive. Then they went after us again and got a touchdown. Penalties is something we've got to find a way to kind of still be aggressive, but the pre-snap and post-whistle ones we can do away with, because that's going to catch up to you in Big Sky Conference play on the road. But scoring 52 points is always going to be a position where you're going to probably find yourself in a winning situation. Playing sound football against a run is also going to do that. And, when they, at the end of the day, Coulter 4.5 yards per play, no matter who you face, if they are 4.5 yards per play from start to finish, you're putting yourself in a pretty good position. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty, it wasn't clean, but it was clean enough to get away with a 3-touchdown victory.
Well, you mentioned Nate Bell, and he'll be joining us a little later on here today, but he's a great athlete. He's really fun to watch. So what have you thought of just his sort of emergence? Because I know Jared Taylor's a guy you guys were high on, and a guy that's a great player himself. So what have you thought of Nate just stepping up and sort of taking the reins there at quarterback for you?
Well, before the season, his question to me, even prior to getting on into camp, was how can I impact this team in whatever way I can, whether that's at returner, whether that's at quarterback or at receiver, in a selfless type question. That's who he is. He's a high competitive guy. Even though he's not a demonstrative type of player, he's a high competitive juice guy. He wants to impact the game in whatever way and capacity he can. He's a team ball player. He's a tough tackle. I like the fact that he played baseball. I mean, he's got some baseball stuff to him. He kind of sees things before they happen, or as they happen, and gets himself out of jams. And so he's got a great feel for the game in an early part of his career. He makes us a better team being on the field. So we got to make reservations for Nate Bell as one of the 11 to maintain some of that greatness on the field, whether it's at quarterback or other positions.
It's interesting you said he played baseball. I hadn't realized that. He looks like a baseball. He moves kind of like a middle infielder, right? He's got something like that Russell Wilson playing shortstop to him a little bit.
He's just smooth, and he's unflappable, and he's going to take some chances, calculated risks, and we're okay with that. Don't play safe, but we can't play silly either. It's got to be in between, in which he does and has done very well for the first two starts of his career.
Aaron Best here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television and the ESPN MT app. Eastern Washington in Bozeman on Saturday afternoon. What else have you liked? Who else has emerged as a leader, and who else has performed up to your standards so far here this season?
Well, I mean, we're always trying to push the envelope culture. I think two guys on defense kind of stick out that maybe weren't household names coming in, Jalen Jenkins and Bryce Smith. One of them being a first fall guy, Bryce, and he's got a block punt, I think he's upwards of 30 plus tackles at our nickel position. And this day and age, no one runs base, so you're playing two backers and, kind of a fifth DB with all the formations we get. So he's been impactful on defense and been a really, really bright spot for such a short runway thus far in his career. Jalen Jenkins has done a great job. We've had a ton of guys not being able to be available in our first 4 games. So we've had guys, have to almost step up, not knowing that was going to be their role early on in the year. So we'll still have some guys that emerge as the season comes along. But we'll keep gelling. We'll keep grinding, we'll keep competing. But I think those two guys on defense kind of have been bright spots. We probably anticipated Jalen Jenkins to be a guy, but didn't know what we were going to get this early in the career of Bryce Smith. And he's been good. He's on the verge and got the ability to be great for a long time in this conference.
When it comes to this matchup, then Montana State, obviously a huge transition year for them after losing 24 seniors and a whole bunch of coaches on the staff, but they've been solid, especially these last couple of weeks. So what have you seen early on here from Montana State when you turn on the film?
Well, I mean, obviously they establish the run. They've got the deepest and probably best running back room in the nation at our level. They've got a quarterback that makes really good decisions. I know it's in his first season under Coach Vegan and the system. He's made good decisions. They're able to run with him. Maybe not as much as maybe with Tommy or Mr. Chambers, but he does what he needs to do, and he does it well. He relies on that defense. Obviously, you guys, they play at a different pace at home because of that home crowd. Gets them going. Third down, they're a menace. They're really, really good on third down. They've been defensively good on third down for a long time, so we've got to be productive on first and second down. Two guys up front with Iden and Brott. They'll make life miserable for those guys up front, so we've got to make sure we keep those guys at bay to some degree. We're not going to stop them, but we got to contain the pass rush and get some knockoff and get some doubles because they can make plays in the run game single-handedly, and they're active on the back seven. They'll get in passing windows. They keep everything in front, and they'll take calculated risks at times, but they're not going to be a high-pressure, zero alpha, put corners and safeties and nickels on islands. They're going to keep everything in front and be calculated with the pressures and rely on that offensive run game and play action off the run offensively. So I know they probably aren't happy scoring 17 at home, but I'm probably happy that they put a 0 on the other side of the scoreboard last week against Mercyhurst. And so they're going to be giddy. They're going to want to score points. It was 17-0 at half, ended up being 17-0. Mercyhurst had opportunities, but Montana State thwarted those opportunities in the red zone. So they're going to lean on their defensive run game like they have the last 4 or 5 years.
Keys for your team then? What sort of things is it going to take for you guys to come into Bozeman and get a win?
Yeah, we're going to have to continue to produce in the running back running game and not just rely on the quarterback to be the +1 must get first down run game. We've got to create some explosives. We got to stay, I wouldn't say penalty free, but we need to limit the amount of penalties we have, especially in situations where, it's third down or fourth down and we're replaying the down after we move the sticks. And our special teams got to step up. We had a great return game last week, and the punt and the one kickoff return we had that were big, but we've got to make sure we execute, and field goals are potentially going to be the backbreakers in this game. So we've got to be calculated in our approach as far as fourth down kicks versus fourth down opportunities to go for it. But we got to put the ball between the pipes when we get the opportunity, because points are at a premium this Saturday.
Aaron Best here on ESPN Radio. Coach, good catching up. Thanks so much, and travel safe. Best of luck on Saturday. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Coulter. Appreciate it.
Missoula's iconic roads have long called to legends. Now, a new one has arrived. Grizzly Harley-Davidson is now part of the Young Power Sports family, bringing trusted service, access to a network of over 3,000 machines, and even more power to Missoula and Western Montana. Visit us to find your next Harley-Davidson or see our inventory online at younggrizzlyharley-davidson.com. Again, that's younggrizzlyharley-davidson.com. Young Grizzly Harley-Davidson, new name, bigger family, rooted in Missoula. Ride fast, live young.
Booking a tee time at Western Montana's premier public golf course has never been easier. You can book a tee time online anytime you want to play Canyon River Golf Club. And while you're at CanyonRiverGolfClub.com, you can check out all the other awesome stuff that Canyon River has to offer. Canyon River Golf Club is Western Montana's preeminent golf community, offering picturesque views, a challenging track in pristine condition, and second-to-none customer service. Visit CanyonRiverGolfClub.com today to book your tee time.
All Nations Health Center is proud to share that they have officially purchased the Women's Club in Missoula. This marks a significant moment in All Nations' story and history, giving the organization a permanent home and a place where they can continue to grow, care for their relatives, and deepen their commitment to community health and healing. Owning this space means stability, strength, and the opportunity to better serve patients in the Western Montana community in a way that reflects the values and mission of All Nations. For more information on everything All Nations has to offer, follow All Nations on social media or visit allnations.health.
Are you a sports fan who loves to win? Get in on the action with Sportsbet Montana. Bet on collegiate and professional baseball, football, hockey, basketball, and more, all while keeping the money right here in Montana. It's easy and secure on our kiosks and mobile app. Head to your favorite Sportsbet Montana retail location to catch the game, place your bets, and celebrate your wins. Sportsbet Montana. Learn more at sportsbetmontana.com.
Get ready for a day of fun, golf, and Grizz Pride. The annual Grizz Lacrosse Golf Tournament tees off at 10 a.m. Friday, October 3rd at the University of Montana Golf Course. It's a two-person scramble that's open to everyone. No golf skills required, just bring your good vibes. Play 9 holes with mini-games and prizes on every hole, plus awards for first, second, third, and yes, even last place. Support Grizz Lacrosse and sign up now at grizzlax.com. Don't miss it, the Grizz Lacrosse Golf Tournament, Friday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. Register today at grizzlax.com.
Hey, it's Colter Nuanez from your favorite daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now, and I want to buy you a meal on your birthday at Paradise Falls. If it's your birthday, head on over to Paradise Falls at 3621 Brook Street, and I will buy you a birthday entree. All you have to do is go into the family-friendly Missoula favorite, present your ID, and the entree is on me. Birthday meals courtesy of Nuanez Now at Paradise Falls, a family-friendly restaurant serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If it's your birthday, head over to Paradise Falls, Missoula's coolest hotspot.
1, 2, 3. Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Really got your bags on, but though I thought I told you not to go outside. Trying your best to bring the water to your eyes, thinking it might stop her from whipping your behind. I miss those days, good. Come back once more. Why did those days?
Maybe it's because it's 50 years old. I don't know. I don't know why Stevie Wonder doesn't get more run, even now, today. Unreal. I've been stuck on Stevie Wonder for the last 4 days. And I know I've said it on this show multiple times, but that run, 1970 to 1976, unparalleled. It's got to be one of the great runs ever. I mean, one album of the year 4 times. There's only one other artist that's one album of the year at the Grammys ever, let alone in four times in 5 years, basically. Stevie Wonder did it. Taylor Swift's also done it, but it wasn't 4 and 5, so pretty impressive. Thanks to our friends at the Press Box. Need a place to gather before or after the Grizz game. I know it's a late one, but they'll still be serving drinks and maybe even food on Saturday night. No promises on the food, but they do serve food for sure until 10 p.m., almost every single night of the week. Press Box is your official headquarters of Grizz Athletics. Prep Hot Ticket. Here is a look at a couple of the games I'm going to be watching and have a keen eye on this evening. Bozeman plays Bozeman Gallatin tonight. The Raptors are 4-0. They're number 2 in the state. The Hawks are 3-1, so they're off to a decent start as well. Bozeman High dominated this rivalry in the short history of it. They've only been playing for the last 5 years because Gallatin's pretty new. But Gallatin got their first win in the rivalry ever last year in double overtime. So this will be a fun one to monitor. It's also crosstown in Helena tonight. Capital's taking a step back after winning the state championship last year. Helena High's got a bunch of young players. This is a good litmus test game for both these teams. Where are we at? Who's going to be competitive? Who's not? I do think that one or both will probably be in the playoff mix, but is that as, a team that's in the top 3 or 4 seeds or the team that's playing in the first round on the road? We'll find out. Number 1, Kalispell Glaciers in Missoula tonight to take on Hellgate. Glaciers averaging 54 points a game their last 3 and 44 points a game for the season. Hellgate has their single win so far this year over Kalispell Flathead. That's where Big Sky plays tonight. They take on the Braves up north, and Sentinel is in Butte. They put their undefeated record on the line at Ranchi Stadium in the mining city. In Class A, Billings Central plays at Miles City. That's a nice conference game. For Laurel, they're trying to get back on the horse after getting beat 35-0 last week against Billings Central. They play in Lewistown against Fergus County. So that's number 2 versus number 4 in Class A. And then another one that's a big-time matchup in the Southwestern Day, Frenchtown at Dillon. Dillon, not as good as they have been, which, Dillon's been good for my whole life. So down here, every once in a while, you can expect it. But Frenchtown, they had that brutal loss to Central, but they got back on the horse last week, so can they keep it rolling? They and Hamilton both look like the favorites in the Southwestern A. In Class B, your 3 games of the week, Columbus at Manhattan, Townsend at Three Forks, and Eureka at Anaconda. So that'll be a fun one, too. Eureka comes in one of the top teams in the state. Anaconda, though, on a 3-game winning streak for the first time in 10 years. So good strides forward for the Copperheads. And then an 8-man, the game of the year probably in the Southern Division of 8-man football will take place as 3rd-ranked Flint Creek, that's Drummond and Phillipsburg, will travel to 8th-ranked Ennis in a battle of undefeated teams. The winner will be then in the driver's seat basically for that number 1 seed of that division headed into the Class C 8-man playoffs. So there you go. Prep Hot Ticket probably presented by the Press Box. Hour 1 of the books. Hour 2 coming at you. Carol and the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports. Matt Johnson, the head coach of the Big Sky Eagles. That's all next. Keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Hey Grizz fans, the hockey season is back and we're kicking off with the inaugural Hawktoberfest. Join us Friday, October 3rd from 5 to 7 p.m. under the outdoor pavilion at Glacier Ice Rink. Get your limited edition beer stein from Silver Slipper for drink specials all night. Enjoy a DJ, food, drinks, games, meet the team, get posters signed, and win prizes and swag. Plus, explore local organizations promoting their activities. Best of all, Hawktoberfest is free and open to everyone. Grab your tickets at grizzhockey.com for the season opener against Utah at 7:30 p.m. Come celebrate with us. See you there.
Elevated Tax and Accounting is not your average accounting firm.
A lot of firms don't offer tax planning. You bring in your documents at the beginning of the tax year. We're in 2025. We're doing 2024 returns. Everybody brings in their stuff. And now it's too late for tax planning. There's all sorts of deductions or credits that could be left on the table because nobody took the time during the year to figure out whether or not those things are going to be available for that specific client. So tax planning is one of those things that we offer that's extra, that helps our clients out quite a bit.
To learn more, visit elevatedtax.com.
Coulter Nuanez from ESPN Montana here, and I can't tell you how much high-speed fiber internet from Blackfoot Communications has improved my life. It might sound simple, but having lightning-fast upload speeds lets me record video calls in 4K to use on our Nuanez Now radio and television show. It also allows us to produce content with world-class efficiency, and I can work from home even if my wife is streaming her HD TV. If you want to experience the fastest internet speeds possible, you need fiber internet from Blackfoot. Find out more about fiber in your area by visiting blackfoot.com.
It really doesn't matter what time of year it is. What sounds better than enjoying a cold beer? Cami Tap House has the best selection and most variety of specialty beers on tap in all of Missoula. Cami Tap House on South Higgins features dozens and dozens of taps for you to try beers from all over the world. And don't forget, Cami Tap House also offers several tap wines, a variety of other tasty beverages, and a delicious food selection. Follow Cami Tap House on Instagram to stay up to date on all of their rotating food specials. Open at 9 a.m. daily, Cami Tap House on South Higgins across from Dornblazer Field.
You've got a debit card and phone app. Does a brick and mortar bank really matter? You bet your boots it does. Step inside any one of our Farmer State Bank's 10 unique locations. Open a new account, apply for a loan, rent a safety deposit box, or arrange for the trip of a lifetime. Personal service and attention to detail, along with all the mobile and electronic services you've come to rely on. Farmer State Bank, your Montana bank since 1907. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Red's Bar is a beloved institution in downtown Missoula. Whether you want to watch a game, enjoy a cold beer, spend time with friendly faces, or simply wind down, the welcoming atmosphere and wonderful staff at Red's will make you feel right at home. Red's features 14 HD TVs and 2 full-service bars. Stop by and grab a beer with friends while you watch your favorite team play and check out the extensive collection of awesome sports memorabilia. Red's Bar in downtown Missoula, the friendliest sports bar in town.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. Oh! It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I've been intermittently trying to make a film, and from a content like talking and interviewing perspective, and even probably a videographer's perspective, it's going well. I'll let you know about it when we can a little bit later on. But from figuring out the timing behind it all, I don't have a lot of time. I'm producing a lot of content around here. So that's been intermittent. Anyways, one of my favorite, this is not even an iconic film scene. It's completely not even underrated because it's never even been rated. I don't know if anybody's ever talked about it in the public sphere. But in the movie Air, the awesome movie about Sonny Vaccaro and Michael Jordan and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are in it, there's this scene where Ben Affleck pulls up to the Nike headquarters. Maybe Phil Knight does. Somebody does in a fancy sports car. And that song is playing. And I thought it was just such brilliant matching of music and cinema. I just loved it. And for whatever reason, I'd never really been into Rufus until I saw that movie. And then I went on the deep dive on Rufus. And I don't know, I've been stuck on this like Motown / funk soul pop type of kick lately. It's because I saw that Michael Jackson show in Las Vegas, and now I've been listening to Michael Jackson, Prince, Stevie Wonder, Chic, Rufus. We got some George Benson coming up. We got Teddy Pendergrass, all sorts of the 70s and 80s infused Motown soul / pop. So that's why I'm stuck. Welcome back. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Thanks for always bearing with me as I go through all my music ebbs and flows. I will say this. I know that I have an incredibly diverse and eclectic taste in music. I hope you guys enjoy that about me because I do think I switch it up. So I think I probably appease a lot of the audience around here because you probably like at least one or two of the types of music that I'm into. If you missed anything in the first hour of the show, you can always find it on the podcast. Heard from Thomas Ford Jr., the head coach of the Idaho Vandals, Aaron Best, the head coach of the Eastern Washington Eagles, and gave you some prep football games to watch. All that on the podcast, probably presented by Elevated Tax, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch. Let's have some fun. Hey, what's up, Buckta?
What's up?
I don't have anything good to lead with today. Did you know the Mariners won the division last night?
No.
You had no idea.
Why would I know that?
I don't know, because it's like the one almost local pro sports team. It's funny because I think people in the Montana, in the NFL, people realize they can just like whatever team they want, but in baseball, they still try to like the team that's closest. So there's like just a lot of Mariners fans. Long suffering. Haven't won the division in 24 years.
I forgot they existed, to be honest.
Well, Cal Raleigh hit his 60th home run last night. The Mariners won the division. So there's your news of the day for the chick who doesn't know sports. And of course, you didn't know anything about that. All right, what's going on this week?
I got some hot goss from the SEC.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
So
this is king trolling. Okay, I'll let Carolyn tell the story, and then I'll tell you what I would do if I was this person.
All right, Ole Miss head coach.
Yeah.
His daughter, who also goes to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss's head coach is Lane Kiffin, one of the most infamous people in all of college football.
His daughter is dating an LSU linebacker who they're playing this weekend.
Indeed.
And she, as the kids say, hard launched their relationship on her social media this week.
So no one knew that they were dating.
Except he's appeared in her social media posts before.
Sure.
But they haven't made it a fish.
So this is like the 2025 version of like we're going steady.
Yeah.
I give you a promise.
You
ring.
you put it on social media.
Yeah. You got to put it on social the Instagram, the TikTok. Okay.
So now it's just everyone's in a frenzy over this because how could the coach's daughter be dating their biggest rival's linebacker?
God, it's awesome.
How do you think they met?
Well, how do you think anybody meets these days?
Tinder?
Sliding into each other's DMs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is LSU even close to Ole Miss? Like, how do you make that work? Long distance seems...
I think that's what the kids want these days.
That's true.
Yeah. Every once in a while, see them.
Yeah.
Mostly just Snapchat or whatever they do.
So weird.
Do they even FaceTime?
I don't know.
Do they call? Do your sons call?
Yeah, Nick and his, like when he's had little girly friends, they call and FaceTime and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. They'll watch shows on FaceTime together, which is so weird. I'm like, you're eating up all of our Wi-Fi. Knock it off.
That is
trying to watch Severance over here.
That is sort of weird.
Yeah, so it's a little scandalous.
So I have a buddy. I hope he doesn't mind. I'm not going to use his name, but his wife. How do you say? She's attractive. She's probably mid 40s, she got a young person, some man in his like 20s came up to her at the airport and was like talking to her and then asked for her Instagram.
Yeah.
She gave it to him because she didn't understand that that's like the 20-year-old version of like giving somebody your number.
Stop it.
So my buddy was like, what are you doing, babe? Like, you just like gave that guy your number. She's like, no, I didn't. I just gave him my Instagram. He's like, that dude is like 25 years old. Like, that's what this is. And he's like sitting over there like stewing. And I was like, hey, well, at least
people think she's hot.
So that's what I said. I said, congratulations, you have an attractive wife. But yeah, pretty funny.
That is funny.
Okay, so here's the deal. First of all, Lane Kiffin is infamous and one of the most hated people in the history of college football.
Okay.
So the reaction to his own daughter trolling him on game week for one of their biggest rivals is hilarious because so many people are like, this is what this guy deserves. Like, screw this guy.
Okay.
Lane Kiffin has had many problems. First of all, he is ditched out on multiple programs. He's a complete and utter narcissist crybaby. He also happens to be one of the most brilliant offensive minds in all of college football, so he keeps getting these jobs.
Is he new to Ole Miss?
Relatively new to Ole Miss. He was at USC for a long time.
Oh.
He had a notorious drinking problem.
Oh.
He's since gone sober, and he's actually talked a lot about his sobriety. And I have a lot of respect for him for doing that.
Yeah.
Because he sort of turned his own image in like that realm, and he's been very supportive of people that have substance abuse issues and try to be inspirational to them. The thing is, a lot of times when people get rid of their when they harness their substance abuse issues, their personality changes. His didn't.
Okay.
So he's still widely hated. So a lot of people are like, good job for you by getting sober. You also still suck.
Yeah. It wasn't the alcohol.
Because he's just so cocky.
Okay.
But he's a classic character. I don't dislike Lane Kiffin. I think he's hilarious because he is just so cocky and he talks so much smack. This is just like karma coming back around for him. So that's that side of it. But on the other side, if I'm Lane Kiffin, I am beyond furious at my daughter for this.
Really?
Oh, no question. She can date whoever she wants. You don't hard launch it on social media to cause an enormous frenzy the week that you're playing LSU. You could do it in August. You could do it next week. Why are you doing it this week?
Well, okay, so I've heard that this coach has a pretty he's on social media a lot. He's making comments all the time, and he's like out there putting stuff out there a lot. So he may be in on it.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the other thing is that Lane Kiffin is such a freak that he totally could be in on it too.
Yeah, because he's obviously knows they've been dating. She wasn't keeping it a secret.
Okay, so here's the deal. You and I have talked a lot about these, like all these documentaries / mockumentaries that have become so in vogue.
Yeah.
Like, guys making, like Aaron Rodgers making a documentary about himself, right? It's so silly. Like, it's entertaining. I watched it, but it's just so silly.
Did you watch the Charlie Sheen one?
I started watching the Charlie Sheen one. I mean, that is living proof that some people are just born like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are just born with problems, and I just don't know if you could ever harness your problems.
Right.
Like, if he would have like grown up in a monastery or something and like was away from society, maybe he turns out non-crazy, but the fact that he grew up with a famous Hollywood actor as a dad and like famous Hollywood actor as a brother, and he was doomed. Like he was doomed to be just wired from the very beginning. Anyways, I mean, maybe Kiffin was in on this. If he's not in on this, though, I'd be so mad I'd cut her off. Oh, what I was saying though is that there's this new documentary / mockumentary all about the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is where this is gaining so much traction.
Yes.
This is the full swing of college football, right? Everybody's like, oh, I kind of like golf now because I watched Rory McIlroy on Full Swing. Well, now you have the version of it with the SEC.
Yes.
So these guys
come out yet?
It's out.
Is it out?
It's about last season. So, but this kid from LSU is one of the biggest stars in this. And like, I'm sure that's how he got with this gal because she probably slid into the DMs after watching him on her dad's show, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, what do you think she's going to be wearing LSU stuff or Ole Miss stuff?
Oh my gosh. See, this is the other thing. My daughter shows up wearing the other team's stuff. She's cut off. I don't know how old this lady is, but she's
probably 19.
Yeah, in college, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she should be rooting for her school, right? Because she's going to be in the student section.
Maybe. You got to make good decisions here, though. Your dad makes $10 million a year.
Yeah.
You want to ride that gravy train as long as you possibly can.
I'm betting this was all calculated.
Because I think they both.
Wait, so she goes to LSU? Okay.
No, she goes to Ole Miss.
Oh, so she definitely. Oh, so her dad coaches Ole Miss, and she goes to Ole Miss. She has to root on Ole Miss.
I know.
Screw your boyfriend.
Right.
Okay. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But see, I think this is all calculated to grow her social media, because every 19-year-old girl wants to be a social media star, and to get eyes on the game. And it's just a whole. I think it's all the evil plan.
What a world it is that we live in.
I know.
I mean, and just the fact that we're talking about this, guess what we're doing? We're adding to it, right? Like,
yeah.
Right now, people are listening to this and they're searching, I'm sure, Landry Kiffin. Oh, yeah, last time I looked at this, when I first heard this story earlier this week, I looked at this and she had 20,000 Instagram followers. She's got 39,000 now. She's doubled her Instagram following from one stupid post about her and her half-mustache boyfriend.
See?
Man.
It's all part of the plan.
And then here we are. We're just making all this great content, and, we get excited when we get 40 new Instagram followers.
That's right. By the way, are you guys following us on Instagram?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram.
ESPN 102.9.
Yep, please do. Lots of collaboration stuff going on there right now. And appreciate Carolyn for contributing on that. Check those on Sports, 102.9 ESPN Missoula. All right, what else you got?
All right, your best friend, Russell Wilson,
Jeez.
got benched this week.
Yeah, he did. It was a great joy watching him on primetime TV last week. Just absolutely just sucked. And it was just so glorious.
They're 0-3. They brought in their rookie QB.
Who is from where? Ole Miss.
That's right. He is from Ole Miss. Yep. Jackson Dart.
He also has a half mustache.
Yeah, that's the trend right now.
What are these guys doing?
I don't know.
Like, first of all, you gotta be a certain age to pull off a mustache and have it not be ironic. It's like the dad thing. Like, it's the dad rite of passage to be able to have a real mustache.
And they got mullets, and I can't
Jeez,
deal.
What is that?
I hate it.
The girls like it?
I guess.
Man.
I don't know. It's awful.
Wild times. Anyways, these guys with their little pencil mustaches is just so embarrassing.
So weird. And they're going to have to look back on these pictures and know what they look like.
Okay, but back in the 70s when all the high school and college guys had mustaches, they had real, like, bristly cop mustaches. And these,
you know why? It's all these boys have low T.
It's because of the cornflakes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the hormones in the milk. They can't grow a real mustache.
It's probably from staring at your phone doing Snapchat all day.
Probably.
Take advice, kids. All right.
Okay, so Jackson Dart's replacing him.
Yeah.
He's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson said, I'm fine. I'm going to stay put. And you know why? Because he's got a $10.5 million guarantee. So he can just sit on that bench and do nothing. He's got $10.5 million. Why not just relax?
Yeah, you want to know the best part? He's getting the last year of his $140 million contract this year as well.
Yeah.
From the last team.
So
this dude's making like $55 million to sit there.
I mean, that sounds great.
Of course he's okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Man. And then see, I want to know, like, what's the tipping point where it's just so much money that it just doesn't even matter?
That.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. And
like Kirk Cousins, if you watched quarterback, Kirk Cousins lives in like houses that are like, he's had two different houses between Minnesota and Atlanta. They're nice. But they're like houses that we know people that live in that nice houses. Like, they're not that much nicer than our houses.
Yeah.
Like, pretty nice. And you're sitting there thinking, you're like, okay, so this guy's made $280 million in his career, and he lives in a house that's a little bit nicer than mine. So what's he been doing with all his money? Like, this guy must have the craziest investment accounts. He's like the guy that you want to be. Like, you're always telling people invest your money. Like, Kirk Cousins has enough money to buy an entire country or like an entire island because he hasn't spent anything.
Good.
Yeah, Russell Wilson also has a rich wife. Like, man, it's just crazy how much money.
Do you think he'll retire after this year? Because he's had 3 really bad seasons.
Well, and the only thing that's kept him going. See, this all stems back to when they signed him to the gigantic $40 million a year contract a couple years ago, and then that's just been getting passed down the line. The Seahawks got rid of him, but the contract remains. Broncos got rid of him. Contract remains. Steelers got rid of him. Contract remains. Well, now, this last year. I mean, of course you're going to keep playing if you're going to get paid this much money.
Right.
To not even do anything, to suck and just get paid $40 to $60 million a year. So.
Yeah. What's worse? That or Aaron Rodgers or like Tom Brady still trying to play?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is still good.
Yeah, I guess there's that too.
I mean, he's the least functional. I mean, Russell Wilson looked hilariously bad last week. It was like embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, good. I mean, he can just be the water boy and relax and...
Man.
Yeah.
Remember when Russell Wilson was cool?
No.
That was a crazy time in life.
When he was at the Seahawks.
When he's early out with the Seahawks, he's, 3rd round draft pick. He's only making rookie money. And
Remember when he was a proud virgin?
is that a real thing?
Well, I don't know. He and Sierra weren't going to do it until they got married.
Didn't
I thought
she
it was
do it a bunch before she
well,
met
yeah,
him?
she had a kid.
All right.
So she did it at least once. But when they got together, I think he was a virgin.
I know a guy that hooked up with her.
With Sierra?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Former Montana Grizzly. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. There's quite a few of them.
There's a lot of them out there. All right. Check it out on Sports ESPN Radio. Do you have any opinions on Jackson Dart?
No.
He's got a lot of juice behind him. There's a lot of hype. We'll see.
Well, good. I mean, I'm happy he's getting a chance.
He's got those SEC schools, man. The guys that come out of them, they have these cult followings because they're so obsessed with football.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss hasn't had a guy since Eli Manning, really, that was a quarterback. And it just happens to be that this guy also plays for the Giants. And like the hype train behind this kid is so huge, and he's going to come crashing to a halt at some point. It's just a matter of can he then get through it, because that's just how it goes for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I hope he does great. I have no opinions either way as of today.
All right. What else you got?
Okay. Kim Kardashian's Skims have collabed with Nike, and they're coming out today with Nike Skims.
So what is it, like the yoga pants or something?
I didn't see the pictures. I looked.
Compression shorts.
What she wore to the whatever fashion show or premiere or whatever was hideous. And I was like, if this is what they think people are going to wear, they're wrong. It's basically probably just compression stuff. But what she had on was like this like cat suit with like the underwear on the outside. And it was just, I don't even know. I don't even know why I'm reporting on it.
This is not safe for work, what I'm Googling right now. I don't know. I don't even want to click through all these pictures.
Yeah, don't. You're going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't check his browser
this
history.
is supposed to be for...
It's for working out.
Okay.
And I'm sure all the little girly pops are going to buy it because it's Skims. So I don't really know why I brought this up. It just was... It was ugly, and I needed to let you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess there's some connection to sports, because I'm sure that some athlete will become an endorser for
I
this
could
or
have
something.
seen back in the day, like Serena Williams wearing, because she wear those cat suits sometimes. I could see her doing something.
Oh my
like
gosh!
that.
So speaking of Serena, you know how she's doing like these Ozempic commercials?
Yeah.
Have you seen Luka Doncic or Zion Williamson?
No, I mean, like in what way?
Zion Williamson has been notorious for how I'm not gonna say fat.
Oh, are they on Ozempics
but
too?
overweight he is. And I mean, I say overweight for a basketball player, right? I mean, you just can't weigh 300 pounds because when you jump up like this. But Zion is allegedly on the train. That's him before and after. Oh, show me again.
I mean, I saw it. He looks fine. I mean, he doesn't look like scary skinny.
No, it's just weird when you see people that. I don't know. It's a. We're gonna have a lot more information in about 20 years, and I think that there's gonna be a lot of regrets. Out there.
Semaglutides have been around for years, and people use it for diabetes and have been for years and years.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I don't know why you're hating.
Hey, whatever. Everybody do you. Live and let live.
That's right.
All right, what else you got?
If you want to wear an ugly cat suit while you work out, do it. Don't let us stop you.
All right, what else you got?
All right, David Fry plays for the Guardians.
Yep.
Baseball. He got hit in the face last night by a ball going 99.6 miles per hour.
Oh, my gosh.
So they're bringing up, should they be wearing face masks? This doesn't happen that often.
It does not happen hardly at all.
So I'm not sure exactly what happened. They were playing the Tigers, Guardians versus the Tigers.
Yep.
He has a broken nose. He's okay. But talk about a blackout.
Man. Oh, it'd be so scary.
Yeah.
Well, if it goes the wrong way, you die. But
that's true.
But that hasn't really ever happened. So, and I don't know the why to that. You'd think baseball is the oldest professional sport in America, right? It's been around since post Civil War. So
it's America's pastime. Not sure if you heard.
So you'd think that I'm sure there probably has been someone in the history of pro baseball that has died, but like not in the television era, really, that I can remember.
And were they throwing 100-mile-an-hour?
I mean, like these pictures I have over here, like that guy on the right could throw about 99 miles per hour, and that's from the 30s.
Oh,
so.
wow. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, your point's well taken, though. More guys throw harder than ever before, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they need to wear face masks.
I would think that would be hard to hit the ball if you've got a big face mask on too.
I mean, but in softball they wear face masks.
Do they?
Yeah. The diamond's a lot smaller though. It's a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the reaction time's so much slower.
Yeah.
Or quicker, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, like a softball gal who's throwing 70, but from that close, that's like throwing 120 from a normal mound.
Well, he's okay, and we'll see what happens. But there's been a call for face masks, but I feel like that happens every time someone gets hit in the face.
For sure.
And then it just goes away.
Well, there's been like body armor that's been worn, like guys wear it on their elbows and stuff, and I don't know. Maybe it'll just be a case-by-case basis. If you want to wear a face mask, you get a face mask. Maybe that's as simple as that.
There you go.
All right. Chicken Does Those Sports here on ESPN Radio, probably presented by Hot House Yoga. What else you got?
So Tom Brady has been in the news again. Surprise, surprise. He sent out a newsletter this week because people are really fired up about him having this stake in the Raiders and then also be on broadcasting because he does have access to rival teams' information. Apparently, when this all first happened, the rules were more strict in terms of what he had access to.
Yep.
Those rules have loosened, and he has written a very stern newsletter. I'm not sure do you get his newsletter?
I do not. It's like a memo.
It's basically a memo from Tom Brady saying that he has ethics. He's very ethical, which is funny coming from, the guy who deflated footballs.
Multiple cheating scandals.
Cheating scandals, and that people are paranoid, and it's his ethical duty to grow football and keep football, important and to give the people important information about the game while he's broadcasting that only he would have because, he's allegedly the GOAT.
Sure.
He says that calling for concerns over this is foolish. What are your feelings on this?
Well, I get the premise why people are mad because the play-by-play and color commentator for a broadcast, they get special and exclusive access to the coaches for the games that they're broadcasting. That said, this is not a systematic advantage always because not all the teams in the NFL play on primetime all the time or play in Tom Brady's, afternoon game of the week.
There's only so many games he's going to cover.
So that's part of it. Even though they get special access, though, I don't know if it's going to give you a systematic strategic advantage, especially because in the NFL, there's so much film. Like everybody is already trading film. Every game is on TV. Like there's not like this secret thing that you're going to run.
Yeah.
And if there is secret stuff that you're going to run, guess what?
You're not telling them.
Teams run that stuff. They run it right out of the box. So it hasn't been on film before. And you're not going to tell Tom Brady about this special play you're going to run.
Right.
Like mostly they're telling the commentators like, this guy has a fun backstory, or like, I really like this guy went through some adversity this year and he overcame it. He had a bad toe all camp or whatever. Now he's healthy, or, his sister had the bad thing or whatever. I just don't really know if they're like saying, oh yeah, we're going to run trips right, backside counter snap counts on Omaha.
They should just give him a totally wrong information, totally opposite information.
Interesting.
And see what happens.
Yeah, interesting.
That's what I would do. I'd be like, all right, we're going to do the XYZ play and then not do it.
It is. It's an interesting conundrum because it's just never happened before and it'll probably never happen again. And there's just not a lot of ex-player turned commentators who have enough money to buy a part of an NFL team.
Right.
So, but there is a lot of traction behind the fact that Brady's super involved. That he is a really hands-on owner, even though he is a very minority owner. So,
well, I'll give it to him. He loves football.
Yep,
he really does more than his family, but he loves football.
When they were showing him up in the box at the Raiders game, and he's in his little suit, he's got his headset on, and he's studying it all. I mean, he's like literally talking to the coaches during the game as an owner. Like that's pretty unheard of. But I was sitting there thinking while they showed him up there on TV, I was like, this guy has no regrets, which is crazy. Mm-mm. Like he literally just flushed his whole family down the toilet to just play football and be a football guy, and he doesn't care.
No,
he does not care.
No,
that is wild.
He loves football more than
anything,
which is crazy to me.
It is so not healthy.
No.
Yeah, no, not good.
No.
Really, really, really weird. And I don't know, though. I always think, like, is he going to have regrets? The thing is he's just not going to have regrets for so long.
He'll have regrets maybe like
when he's
old.
Yeah. Or if his
but right
kids
now,
hate him.
yeah, and I don't think his kids hate him.
No.
Their dad's Tom Brady. They're like, we can pay for all the therapy.
Right.
We don't need.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right.
They don't hate him. I can promise you that.
Man. So I guess the moral of the story is just chase your addictions, and if you make enough money, then you'll still have a fine end game when you're old.
I don't think that's the moral of the story. I don't think anyone should do this.
I don't either. But if his kids don't hate him and they're not, I mean, I don't know if they're dysfunctional or not, but like, I don't know.
We don't know the situation. I'm sure he's a nice guy to his kids. I don't think he's necessarily, I mean, I don't know how hands-on you could be in that.
Yeah, see, this is the part I'm always wondering about, because like I'm really busy and I feel like regretful sometimes about not spending enough time with my son. But I know I spend way more time with my son than like Tom Brady does with his kids, right? So then I'm like, what are these relationships like? Do these people see their kids like once a month?
I know, isn't that weird?
It's so weird. I feel bad if I'm like 15 minutes late going home, because I only get an hour and a half after work every day. And if I miss 15 minutes, I feel terrible. But these people are like gone all the time.
That's because we're normal.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. And then you look at Tom Brady when he's up there too, and you're like, this really is an addiction. Like, this guy actually has a sickness.
Yes.
Like, he's like sick in the head for football.
He has a boner for football. I'm just going to say it.
It's so weird, because I love football, but man, I love a lot of other stuff too. I just don't know if he loves anything besides.
He wants to make sweet love.
I think he loves football, in order: football, his own reflection, and money. I think that's it.
Well, that's what's wild too, is like you could have retired and be done and actually spend time with your family, and now you're doing this.
When, like, by all accounts, not only is Giselle like the most beautiful woman in the world, she's also really cool and like wants to travel the world and stuff, and that would just been so, I mean, who could imagine a better life than that?
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Instead, he's sitting in the box with the Raiders while they just get their absolute butts beat each weekend. That's the other thing I'm sure is just driving him nuts, though, is
he's like, let me just get in there.
They suck. And I don't know if he has any sort of ability to like
tap in,
handle that. Like, he's never been in situations where he's been a part of a team that's this bad. So, yeah, weird deal.
All right. Poor Tom Brady.
Oh, poor Tom Brady. No, nobody's feeling bad for old Tom.
No.
All right, Check It Out Sports, ESPN Radio. Anything else this week?
That's it.
Tell us about Hot House Yoga.
Hot House Yoga is hot and great. I went this week. I only got in there once this week because I've been really busy. But classes all day, starting at 5:45 a.m. So you could go before work. You can go during your lunch. You can go after work. They have so many different varieties of classes from beginner to advanced. So you should check them out at hothousemissoula.com or on the Mind Body app. You can sign up for classes there.
Appreciate Hot House for the continued support of the Chicken Does No Sports. Carolyn, thank you.
Thanks.
There's almost no argument. Canyon River Golf Club in East Missoula is the premier public golf course in the state of Montana. Superintendent Caleb has the greens running fast, and your approach shots better be true because everything around the green is fast too. Canyon River makes it easy for you to book a tee time. You can visit online and book any time at CanyonRiverGolfClub.com. If you have any doubt, leave no doubt that Canyon River is the premier public golf course in the state of Montana. Visit online, CanyonRiverGolfClub.com.
All Nations Health Center is proud to share that they have officially purchased the Women's Club in Missoula. This marks a significant moment in All Nations' story and history, giving the organization a permanent home and a place where they can continue to grow, care for their relatives, and deepen their commitment to community health and healing. Owning this space means stability, strength, and the opportunity to better serve patients in the Western Montana community in a way that reflects the values and mission of All Nations. For more information on everything All Nations has to offer, follow All Nations on social media or visit allnations.health.
Can you smell it? No, not the melty, delicious, piping hot homemade pizza. Nope, not the steamed clams. Although if you smell either of those, you're going to be dreaming all day. You can smell football in the air. Now you're craving something delicious with melted cheese, aren't you? Before you know it, Paradise Falls will have football games on all of their 30 big screen TVs, and Paradise Falls is always a wonderful gathering place to meet friends and family alike to share a pizza and talk about football. Come get your football fix and enjoy breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Paradise Falls, located at 3621 Brook Street in Missoula.
I had some health concerns, so I decided to have the Healthy MRI full body screening at Montana Imaging Center. This screening can detect cancer and other conditions and disorders early. I had the most amazing experience with Dr. McHugh and his staff. Any nerves I had going in melted away. I received my results within minutes of getting out of the machine. Dr. McHugh reviewed everything with me, and I left with peace of mind knowing that I'm okay. I even learned things that made me feel optimistic about my health. Visit MontanaImagingCenter.com to book your Healthy MRI today and feel great about tomorrow.
At Dazzler's Car Wash of Missoula, they've taken their most popular washes, combined all the most popular features from foam wax to graphene to ceramic coating, and boom, you got the best bang for your buck any dirty or grimy vehicle. And be sure to check out memberships at Dazzler's Car Wash. Starting for just $34 a month, you can get the most thorough and quality car wash in the Garden City. Dazzler's Car Wash, located off Radio Way in Missoula. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated with Dazzler's Car Wash today.
Attention Grizz hockey fans, single game tickets are now on sale at grizzhockey.com. Don't miss your chance to secure the best seats for every exciting home game. This year, we're taking the fan experience to the next level. From music and a live pregame show in the parking lot to a professional DJ and MC energizing the crowd inside the arena. Enjoy new intermission games in the best bar in Missoula, all while cheering on the most talented Grizz hockey team yet. Tickets are waiting. Head to grizzhockey.com today. Grizz Hockey, where the action begins.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
In the night. Give me the night. You need the key action. A place to dine, a glass of wine, a little late romance. So change the action. We'll see the people of the world coming out to dance. Cause there's music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. So give me the night.
I made a false statement earlier this week. I said that Missoula Big Sky was 4-0 for the first time since 1994. That's when Missoula Big Sky won its first, last, and only Class AA state championship. Then I was reminded by Missoula Big Sky head football coach Matt Johnson that Eagles team actually lost its first game of the year and then went on a tear in one of the great runs of one of my great mentors' careers. Gary Eckergen is a person that was unbelievably impactful in my life. Playing for him at Big Sky High School, certainly one of the great men that I've had the pleasure of knowing in my 38 years. And I know his legacy carries on with Coach Johnson. Coach Johnson took over for Coach Eck when Eck fell sick and then unfortunately lost his battle with cancer. But Matt Johnson's been doing a heck of a job, man. Matt Johnson was one of my first coaches ever at Big Sky High School, and he's done an awesome job. And right now, he's got a team that's pretty darn special. We actually couldn't figure out when the last time Big Sky was 4-0. It might be the first time ever. Truly. They put that record on the line tonight up in Kalispell. Garden City Spotlight back for another week. We check in now with the Missoula Big Sky Eagles, who are off to a 4-0 start after another big-time win last week over Butte High, 41-7. Matt Johnson, the head coach of the Eagles, joining us. Coach, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
We were trying to go through the history. When's the last time Big Sky started 4-0?
Man, I couldn't tell you.
I think it's back in the 90s, right? It was before either of us got there. I think you got there my freshman year, which was 2001, which makes us both sound old. But certainly, I think it was probably back in the early to mid 1990s when Gary Eckergen was the head coach there.
I don't even know if they did back then or not. I think when they won it, I think they lost the first game of the year.
I think that's actually right. I think I remember Eck telling that story because then they went on a big run and it went all the way through in 1994. So crazy. Regardless,
a great start for your team. So 4 games in, what have you liked? But also, what sort of improvements do you want to see?
Yeah, I like our kids' level of competition. I feel like we've seen consistent improvement from game 1. We challenged them after the senior game. We were we weren't satisfied as coaches where we were sitting, especially defensively. Just our fit into everything. Offensively, I thought we've gotten better. We started off pretty hot out of the gates, but I feel like each week our kids are getting a little bit better at what we're doing. I give Butte a ton of credit. They made us uncomfortable, and they did some things that nobody had done to us. And I wasn't, even though the score what it was, I wasn't satisfied with how we played. We got to play better. We get a more formidable opponent, then that kind of stuff's not going to fly. I mean, I think we ran in our first 10 or 15 run plays. I don't know if we blocked any of them correctly. And that's just not, we can't have that. We got to be more disciplined than that. And part of that was things Butte was doing to us. And so we can't allow our opponent to dictate to us. And like I told our kids at the end of the game, yeah, our goal is to win the game. But if we're just doing it because we have a few better athletes than they do, that's only going to get us so far. We got to buckle down and start doing things right. I'm more into right now the manner in which we play than what the outcome, that'll come with it. But if we want to be successful, we got to keep honing in our skills on what we're doing.
Well, it seems like now, too, because you've had success, there's going to be teams that are throwing new things at you, right? I mean, and that's the other thing that's been such a huge impression for me, especially over the last couple of years, is just how many great coaches there are in Montana high school football. Double A on down, man. It's crazy how many guys I talk to every week where you're like, man, that guy's got some great ideas. That is a good coach. So you have to expect you're probably going to see a lot of unknowns here moving forward, too, just with teams trying to cross you up with what they're doing offensively and defensively.
Oh, for sure. And that's always, especially in today's world with the amount of video and access to Huddle and all the different stuff going on, man, you can really dive into teams and break down all the things they're doing. So you always have to keep certain things fresh in your game and keep little nuances to what you're doing because, every week, what you see on film, but all of a sudden they might throw something different at you. Even watching Flathead, what they did against Hellgate's not what they did against Helena, right? So you're going to get something different to try and take something away. And so that's part of what we talked about after our Butte game. If people all of a sudden, put everybody in coverage, and we got to be able to execute our run game then more efficiently. And so, there's great coaching all over the state. I would tell you most of us are not very original. We're just see something the other guy does and says, man, I like that. How can we use it? So
that's kind of like what football's become, though, right? That's what Bobby Houck says every single week when we ask him. He says everybody in football runs all the same stuff. They just dress it up different, right? It's kind of like the copycat nature of how it goes these days.
Totally. And it's funny. You see these cycles of, everybody went away from heavy run. They were going to be spread teams. And then all of a sudden you start seeing teams come back to be heavier run teams. And it's pretty cyclical. I even saw and heard, Eck used to talk about running the 50 front, the Bud Wilkins defense, right? And that was predicated on option football. Well, it's funny. Started to see the old Bud Wilkins, concepts of that starting to come back into football, and that came out in the 50s. So it's really funny how the history of football kind of keeps wanting to come back to some of its basic roots.
Well, yeah, Mark Sampson told me this story once upon a time. He said that he went to a coaching clinic at Bowling Green University when Urban Meyer was the head coach there. And Urban Meyer was putting on this clinic about how you're going to run the veer option, but you're going to do it out of the shotgun. Well, what's that become? The read option, which then, now everybody runs a form of the read option. And, then Capital ran, rough shot over the state for multiple years because nobody in Montana knew how to defend the read option, especially when they had Kyle Sampson at quarterback. We digress. Matt Johnson here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. We've highlighted some of your skill guys because you guys have been scoring so many points, but I want to know about some of the big boys. Who have you liked on the offensive and defensive lines that have been anchoring those units for you so far?
Yeah, starting with our old line, we've had a pretty pretty good growth with a lot of our kids. I'll tell you this, start the year, that was probably my number one concern. How are we going to shake out at the O-line? And I feel like we've had a pretty steady 5-6 kids in the interior 5 that have, man, they've really done a good job. Our center, AP, we call him, Peterson, he does a great job for us. Both our guards, we pull our guards a ton. One's a junior, one's a senior. Cade Williams is one of our captains. He does a fantastic job. Who else I got there? We got a couple juniors that rotated tackle at Isaac Halls. Both have gotten a little beat up. And Bo Morrison, Coach Morrison's his youngest son. They've been doing a great job out of tackle for us, and Carson Pesic at the other tackle, and our tight ends, Tristan Miller. All those guys have done a good job of working together. And, you have to get this thing where you're on the same page. I can say one word to you and you know exactly what I'm thinking, where I'm going. And they put a lot of work in. Coach Peyton Stoner's done an amazing job with that crew. He's great to have on our staff, and they've come a long way. And a big thing I think we were talking about, I think we've given up 1 sack all year. That is a pretty phenomenal stat to be 4 games in and have that. And obviously our quarterback helps that out, but I mean, our big guys are doing their job up front. And then you go to the defensive side. Unfortunately, in the Great Falls game, we lost our All-State DN, Titus Newman. He tore his ACL. So we've kind of bumped a few kids around. Just the way it worked, we look at our personnel, who could do it, who's capable. Right now at nose guard, we have Quincy King. He's a junior. He is 6'5", 225. He took 3rd at state in wrestling at heavyweight. And that kid is going to be, he's going to be an animal. He's already starting to show, each game he's progressively added more tackles for loss. Every game's building on it. So he's really stepping in. Rotate Cade Williams and Carson Pesic at one end. And then I have Adam Guajardo, who was my 48-second 400-meter runner in track. He's 6'3", 195 pounds. And we moved him down to DN to fill the void. And he has really stepped up. He's doing an amazing job.
What else have you liked just about your team? And I guess start here, though. 4-0 is getting some headlines, not only in Missoula, but around the state of Montana. So how do you not let that become a distraction? How do you continue to focus on the internal and the improvements you want to see?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I guess I'm a person that's never satisfied. So it's great we're 4-0, but I want to see us be better. And then, we started the year, this group of seniors as freshmen went undefeated. They went undefeated as JVs. They've had this build up. And so there was this, parents and whoever talking about state title, and kept telling people, nobody's going to give it to us. We got to earn it, man. I'm talking about game 1. Then I'm talking about game 2. Like, it's too easy to get caught up in it and move yourself ahead. I look at it like we're 0-0 going into Flathead, and Flathead could beat us if we don't take care of business. And I think we have to have that mindset all the way through. We even put it on our T-shirts, earn it. I keep reminding them, nobody's we love it. We saw somebody ranked us 5th in the state right now behind teams that had a loss, or I don't know, behind other teams. It was all on power rankings or whatever. I told them, hey guys, it's us against the world, man. I told you, you're going to have to earn this the entire way. So we've been the underdog probably my entire time I've been here in some manner, and we're going to keep living it that way. We're the underdog. Nobody's giving us respect for it. And I don't care what our record is. We got to go out and earn it week in, week out.
It seems like just from the little bit of stuff I've seen from your players, though, like on social media and stuff, seems like they actually lean into that. It seems like they kind of like that, being the underdogs.
Oh, for sure. Because this whole, if you look through, we're not overly huge. We got good skill. We got good talent, good speed, but it's not like when you go out and look at some of our guys, you wouldn't be like, man, he's huge or whatever. We're scrappy, and I think they've had to do that their whole time. They got a little chip on their shoulder, and feel like they're owed some respect, and they feel like they want to go prove to everybody they should be respected.
Well, road trip up to the Flathead this weekend, and Flathead's improved. I think Mac Roche's doing a good job up there. It'd be nice to see Flathead back. I think when Flathead's good and CMR is good and Big Sky is good, that's just good for AA football. But what have you thought of the Braves so far? What are your impressions on your opponent on Friday?
Yeah, we told our kids this. They're not the Flathead of the last couple of years. They're definitely improved, a little more physical of a team, operate their systems a little more simple. And I think that's just to get them good at doing something. But they're getting good at what they do. And, we definitely see an improved team. And that's what I tell our kids. We can't take it lightly, man. We can get knocked off at any point in time. And you can't have any let-ups on it. We got to take each week to get better. So I think they're doing a good job. Looks, that their level of physicality to me as a whole team, it looks like it's that much more improved.
Keys for your team then on Friday night? What do you want to see?
Well, we got to stop their run game, consistently be able to stop. This will be it's funny talking about the zone read. This is really the first team we're going to see that has more of the main part of their offense. So we got a little more disciplined football. Got to make sure we know what we're doing to stop the run. And then we got to be able to run the ball when we need to run the ball and do it cleanly. That's going to be a point of emphasis. We've been running the ball, okay. I think we're probably averaging around 150 a game. I just think we got to be more than that. We got to be able to hit some big run plays, and then we got to continue on our passing game. We've been pretty stellar last few weeks, thrown for around 240. We got to at least be in that range, be able to have those big explosive plays.
Matt Johnson, Big Sky Eagles here on our Garden City Spotlight, probably presented by Missoula Electric Co-op. Coach, good luck this weekend. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Coulter. Always great to be a part of your show.
This fall, the Montana Club is serving up comfort the Montana way. Start with the club's hearty porterhouse pork chop paired perfectly with sweet potato casserole. Or dig into the hand-breaded chicken thighs topped with a rich sage peppercorn country gravy. Craving cozy? Nothing beats the Montana Club's golden crusted chicken pot pie, and that's just the beginning. Experience that full fall flavor at an incredible value at the Montana Club and MontanaClub.com on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
The YMCA is back, and better than ever. Our fully remodeled YMCA campus now includes 2 group fitness studios, a new drop-in childcare center, renovated pool, and state-of-the-art workout equipment. And that's not all. We're also home to Midtown's first all-abilities playground, covered outdoor court space, and a community splash pad. So come see your new YMCA, right next to the fairgrounds. The Y. We're for youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility.
Join the club, the Legacy Club from Farmer State Bank. Our Legacy Club members enjoy legacy events and functions, as well as a dedicated customer service concierge in each market. Best of all, club members receive invitations for both foreign and domestic small group travel. Open a Legacy secure checking account and it's all yours. Friendship, adventure, fun. Join the Farmer State Bank Legacy Club today. Farmer State Bank, your Montana bank since 1907, member FDIC.
Hello, I'm Angie Miller from Ryan Miller & Coburn Trial Attorneys. Because of my background with a biology degree, I bring in expertise when it comes to cases of medical malpractice and personal injury. You don't want to fight the insurance companies yourself. Let Ryan Miller & Coburn help you earn the justice you deserve.
You can call Ryan Miller & Coburn anytime, 542-2233, or visit rmcattorneys.com. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
Blackfoot Communications has been helping Montanans make strong connections for more than 70 years. With its headquarters in Missoula, Blackfoot has been providing steady, high-quality jobs to Western Montanans for decades. As your caring neighbor, Blackfoot shows their support by giving back to local organizations, causes, and schools in ways that truly matter. Blackfoot's mission is to connect people, businesses, and communities. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications. To find out more about how Blackfoot can improve your connection to our community, visit blackfoot.com.
If you know, you already know. The Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill has the best wings in the city of Missoula. But if you don't know, you need to tune into Nuanez Now each Wednesday during the 4 o'clock hour for your chance to win a dozen wings from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Wing Wednesday, the longest standing promotion on your favorite daily sports talk show. So be sure to tune in every single Wednesday between 4 and 5 p.m. for your opportunity to win a free basket of wings from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Wing Wednesday, every Wednesday, presented by the Despo.
1, 2, 3. Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
We're late for a very important date. In fact, we'll see you on Monday. Appreciate you being here. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. We'll be back at it at 4 p.m. Have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the Big Sky After Dark. See you at 4 p.m. Monday, 129 ESPN Radio.
Are you a sports fan who loves to win? Get in on the action with Sportsbet Montana. Bet on collegiate and professional baseball, football, hockey, basketball, and more, all while keeping the money right here in Montana. It's easy and secure on our kiosks and mobile app. Head to your favorite Sportsbet Montana retail location to catch the game, place your bets, and celebrate your wins. Sportsbet Montana. Learn more at sportsbetmontana.com.
Elevated Tax and Accounting is not your average accounting firm.
The way that we really like to differentiate ourselves is taking a proactive approach to your tax and accounting needs. One of the most common frustrations that we hear is that a taxpayer or a business owner heard of something that they could have been taken advantage of from a friend or a coworker, and they didn't hear it from their accountant. And it turns out they could have been taking advantage of that for years to save them money. So we want to take a proactive approach. We're meeting with you throughout the year. We're not just your accountant during tax time. We're your accountant all the time.
If you want to save money on your taxes this year, visit elevatedtax.com.
Looking to upgrade your home in Missoula, Hamilton, or surrounding areas? Trust the experts at Jared Langley Enterprises. With almost 40 years experience in roofing, remodel, gutter sidings, decks, and additions, not to mention new construction, we've got your needs covered. Give us a call today for a project done right and check out our website at jaredlangley.com or visit us on Facebook and Instagram.